your head knocking.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Unbiased Goat Sports Podcast Show. And today, you guessed it, we're talking sports. So with that being said, just to give you the basic idea of what we will be trying to accomplish week in and week out, is we're going to be talking all things sports, the sports realm, the sports world, the whole works. And there's just, in my opinion, no better time than right now. The NFL season is underway, and we're heading into week 3. And we've had plenty of good games so far, and I foresee plenty of great games to come. And, you know, personally, the NFL football season is just a magical time. I know for me, I'm like a fat kid in a candy store. There's not a more exciting time than right now in the sports world for me. And honestly, I would be willing to go as far as to say as 99.9% of Americans would completely agree with me. There's just something in the air. We all can feel it. It's amazing. But if you're that 0.01% that doesn't like football, doesn't like watching football, doesn't like talking football, then here's what I'll do for you. I will say a prayer for you tonight because you are lost and missing out on the finer things in life, my friend. But with that being said, we have a whole week 2 slate to kind of go over to give us an idea of what's going to happen in week 3. And we actually have a game already played from week 3, the Thursday night football game against the Dolphins and the Jags. And I'll tell you this right off the bat, it was not exactly what we thought it would be. So let's just dive right into that game right now. So the Jags, I actually had the Jags winning this one. I thought for sure that there's no way that Minshew was not going to ride the hot hand here. But unfortunately, Minshew's mustache either fell off at halftime or he just was wearing a fake one the whole game because there was no type of Minshew magic that game. He was running like a chicken with his head cut off the whole game through 2 interceptions, and their defense was laughable as well, giving up 28 plus points to the Dolphins, which, I mean, I don't even have words to say what they need to do on that side of the ball, but they got to polish it up over there. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna happen. You can't let that fly, especially when you're playing a team like the Dolphins, who, you know, they're not a good football team. They really do struggle week in and week out, and it showed so far in the season. But on the other side of the ball, Fitzmagic, he came out hot, and his beard was rocking and rolling. He had some type of magical pixie dust going on because he and that offensive scheme in Miami was just really hitting it stride for stride all game long. Gaskins, the running back, was really a workhorse back there for him. Devontae Parker was, being Devontae Parker, being pretty dominant. Even with, he's basically playing on one leg right now, but still able to, tear up the Jags secondary. And their defense, the Dolphins' defense, is not good. I'll be the first to say it. They're not good. So I don't know if that pays homage to whether they're improving or whether the Jaguars' offense is just laughable at this point. But we'll see. That final score of that game was not good. The Dolphins took the W. So we're just going to go down the list of week 2 now and give us an idea of what we should expect in week 3. So the Bengals-Browns last Thursday played, and it was a 35-30 game. And that's another one of those games where I don't think any of us could have foreseen that score or that outcome. But it was a good one. Here's what I will say, and I'll keep it brief about the Bengals. Joe Burrow, he is the real deal, and I think he'll be worth that number 1 overall draft pick. They have a lot of building to do around him. A.J. Green, he is getting old, and I think it's showing now. So you're going to have to start putting in some more younger and more guys that are going to be around for the long haul, because Joe Burrow looks like he is here to stay. Their defense on the Bengals side of the ball, there's not much more to say other than the Browns put 35 up on them. So it's, there might be some hard and tough conversations that the Bengals might have to have. But moving on to the other side, the big thing in Cleveland right now with the Browns is there's a lot of talk about Myles Garrett. There's a lot of talk about Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham and, them being huge aspects in what makes the Browns tick. So I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not the case, and I'm sure it's going to change from now on out. But the thing going on in Cleveland right now is Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. It's like a Mario and Luigi type of deal over there. Those dudes are working like a band of brothers in that backfield. Nick Chubb touching the ball 20-plus times on the ground, a couple touchdowns, and Kareem Hunt absolutely, positively taking over that fourth quarter because he was looking as fresh as a man could be in a fourth quarter of a football game. And I think that's my huge takeaway from that game is the Browns are going to find their identity and find most of their success on the ground and pound game with those two guys in the backfield. They're both, one's a rushing title leader from a couple years ago in Kareem Hunt, and he's getting a second chance in Cleveland. And Nick Chubb, he's got every possibility of being a rushing title guy. He almost damn well took it last year and lost, I believe, by less than 20 to 30 yards on the ground. So look for them to have a huge season this year. Giants-Bears, 17-13. Bears win. I'm not going to talk much about this game because I'm still personally hurt by it. I put money on the Giants to win, and I couldn't feel more like a fool than I do. Do right now, and I did last week. Saquon Barkley went down for the Giants, and I think that's the biggest telltale out of this game. Saquon tore his ACL, and that is not good news if you're a Giants fan right now. He is the framework of that offense. They run through him, and the passing game really came alive when he was in the game. But the Bears are also a 2-0 football team, and I couldn't be more shocked. Honestly, I'm the most anti Mitch Trubisky guy out there, and I do not think he's a good quarterback. But so far, hey, the only thing that matters is the W's at the end of the day, and he's getting it done right now, so good for him. Rams and Eagles, I will also keep this brief because of my personal dislike for the Eagles themselves. Not a good football team, not a good franchise, and I know what you're thinking. Yeah, these guys just won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Well, I'll tell you this. It was a giant-ass fluke, and that we'll leave it at that. Carson Wentz looks terrible. He looks like deer in the headlights out there, and he does not look like an NFL-caliber quarterback right now, and he's playing like it. The Rams, on the other hand, they are looking back to the Super Bowl run type of form. Goff is looking good. Robert Woods is getting involved, and they seem to have a good flowing offense right now that can score, at will, and that's good for them. You want to see that for them, especially if they want to, possibly be in contention later on. Rams defense, they just secured the bag on Jalen Ramsey and extended him, making him one of the most high-paid corners in the league, and that's good for him. He's top 5 corner on that debate list for sure. Aaron Donald, at this point I'm convinced he's not from this planet. Definitely came down from a spaceship or UFO from Mars, because that dude is just unbelievable. He's stronger than everybody on the field times 5, and he's a playmaker every play. He's in every play. He puts his stamp on every game. So I'll say that. So we're gonna move on to the Falcons-Cowboys game, and wow, geez, so I would, for all you Falcons fans out there, I am so sorry for you. The Falcons have made a name for themselves as being the team that loves blowing absolute massive leads. Going all the way back to the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl, that was, where it all began, and nothing's changed. The Falcons gave up a massive lead to lose 40-39, and positive-wise, the Falcons are really spreading the ball well. Todd Gurley, I think, will complement that pass game. Their defense, on the other hand, they need to start heading to church on Sundays instead of playing football, because they are not good right now. They need all the help they can get. On the other side of it, the Cowboys looked awesome. They looked like a team with grit. Zeke Elliott with his new "Feed Me" tattoo on his stomach. He fumbled 2 times early, but came back and got a pair of touchdowns. And that dude is just an absolute dog. Dak Prescott, I've also not been high on him over the years. But with that being said, he is playing extremely well, and he's playing at a high level. And everybody on that Cowboys defense are doing so in his lead, falling behind him. And they came back in that game, and that was unbelievable. That walk-off field goal to win it. You just love to see that in football. That's just a good, hard-fought, gritty game, and good for the Dallas Cowboys. I expect them to do big things this year. Broncos Steelers, not much to really take back through this game. It was a 26-21 ball game. Steelers win. Ben Roethlisberger still looking a little rusty, but that's to expect out of a guy who hasn't been on the field for a year. Hurting his elbow and basically learning how to throw the ball again. But Juju in that offense and Ben Roethlisberger, I think they're going to get on track and definitely give my Ravens a run for their money in the AFC. On the Broncos side of the ball, a lot of injuries. I hate to see it. And defensively as well. Early in the season, Von Miller went down, and he'll be out for the season. Offensively, Drew Lock, their starting quarterback, young, obviously raw, but, that guy's the future of the Broncos organization. He goes down with a shoulder injury. They bring in Driscoll, and Driscoll did what you expect, give an average showing of quarterback play and did decent, but just not good enough to win. And Courtland Sutton, another guy who had a breakout season last year, he's down for the count as well. Tore his ACL. Hate to see it for the guy, but I wish him a happy and quick recovery. Steelers got that game. Lions-Packers, I'll keep this one extremely brief. Packers are playing like the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming back on his revenge tour after they drafted the quarterback in the NFL draft this year. And he's showing why he's still, as he ages, he still has the juice. The guy's spreading the ball all over the field, and Aaron Jones, the running back, is unbelievable. I think debatably top 3 in the league right now. He is just week in and week out shredding defenses. And, in the pass game, the running game, he's a star, and he's a stud. And the Packers got a solid defense as well. So I look for the Packers to be a team to watch out for. They're playing the hot hand right now, and Aaron Rodgers is riding it as hard as that mother effer can. So good for him. He's a dude that he's a GOAT. So you don't ever bet against him. Bills Dolphins from week 2. Divisional game. That's exactly what you would expect. A very close game, 31-28. Bills ended up taking the W, but Josh Allen, I'll tell you this, he is the whole truth. They got a diamond in the rough over there in Bills territory. The Bills Mafia are going crazy as we speak because they know they're waking up every morning with Josh Allen as their quarterback. They've got Stephon Diggs, their new weapon, John Brown. Their defense is solid. And they're playing like a very, very well-coached team right now. You'd love to see it for them in Pagula country. Dolphins, like I said earlier, they're not a good football team, but, they're finding ways to ride Fitzmagic's coattail here to stay in some of these games. But their defense really needs to improve. They're just god-awful. And that's all I have to say about that. Vikings-Colts, 28-11 Colts W. Colts, through the first couple weeks have been what you would expect with Phillip Rivers at quarterback. The guy's got 10 kids, and he's been, in the league longer than I've been alive almost. Well, it feels that way at least. And he's hot and cold. He's very streaky, and right now, especially in the Vikings game, he rode that streak on the hot end of it and won that game 28-11. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings are looking not like the normal selves. And Derek Cook, I think that's his name. But Cook, their running back, massive extension this offseason to extend him at running back for them on the Vikings end. And he's looking like he didn't take the time to go to the bank and cash all that money because he is being weighed down by that extension and all that piles of money that he got because he's not playing up to form this year. And, it comes with a little bit of more pressure when you sign extensions like this because people will expect you, if we're going to pay this kind of money for you, that you are going to give us high form of play and high returns. And so far, that has not been the case. Their offense has been stalemated multiple times, and you just hate to see it for those Vikings. You want to see them do well, but defensively, they're in shambles. They're not looking good. Anthony Barr went down with a pec tear. And he's a solid veteran on that side of the ball, so you hate to see that for them, but hopefully they can bounce back. Ravens-Texans, I'll keep this one extremely, extremely short. I am a Ravens fan, full disclosure. The Ravens are unbelievable. Lamar Jackson, even though he doesn't look as powerful as he did last year in the rushing game, I think that pays homage to defenses really keying in on that rushing game and making sure they contain Lamar. But with that being said, you can't do that with a guy who's improved as much as he has in the passing game, and he has been shredding defensive secondaries. Hollywood Brown looks great. The Ravens' defense is unbelievable. Adding Calais Campbell this offseason, I mean, we've got a stacked defense, two of the best corners in the league, and we look very, very good right now. Watch for the Ravens to make a Super Bowl run for sure. Texans, Deshaun Watson, getting that extension at quarterback. I expect more out of him. He's not playing well. He's 0-2, and in his defense, he's played the defending Super Bowl champions and the Ravens back-to-back, but you would think for a guy who gets an extension that he would put up a little bit better of a fight than he has the last 2 weeks. And then Bill O'Brien, I mean, geez Louise. I don't know what this guy is on, but, I don't want to be on it. He trading away your best receiver, debatably the best in the league, for David Johnson, and thinking that will cure all the problems that the Texans offense has is laughable and deplorable at that. And that dude is a goofy-ass goober for that. And that's really all I have to say about that. That is just funny as shit. I cannot believe they did that. I saw that trade. I was on Instagram the one day, and I saw that pop up on my feed, and I think I was drinking something at the time, and it came out my nose, my mouth, and it was just one of those things where it was laughable. It was just unbelievable. I could not believe it, but, it happened, so I guess we're all living in that world now. Chiefs-Chargers, I just want to thank before I talk about the score of that game, I just want to thank Butker, the kicker. Kicking that field goal won me a lot of money with my money lines, so thank you. If you hear this, I appreciate you. You're the GOAT. But the Chiefs are really looking like, and Patrick Mahomes is looking like the modern-day Tom Brady. So I know growing up for me, and I'm sure a lot of you out there, Tom Brady was that guy that they always said, like, look, you do not want to give this guy a chance to come back in this game because guess what? He will. Pat Mahomes looked exactly like that. When they got that ball back and started driving, it was exactly what you would think out of a guy who's as good as Patrick Mahomes is. Another dude who got a huge, massive contract this offseason, $500 million. I mean, that's unbelievable. The dude's rolling in cash, and good for him. I couldn't be more happy for him. The Chiefs offense, can be stalemated at points, but with a team as gritty as they are, you can never count them out. With that being said, on the other side of the ball, Chargers putting in Herbert, I think, gave them a lot of life. I do not think that game would have been anywhere as close as it was if they had Tyrod Taylor in at quarterback. But I think Herbert gave them a nice, fresh feel on the game, and he looked young, he looked spry, and he looked like a first-round draft pick. So good for them. Their defense is solid this year, and look for them to be a very difficult team to beat down the stretch. The final score of that game, 23-20, Chiefs. The Pats-Seahawks game, fantastic game. Another game I had the privilege of being able to stay up and watch. The final score was 35-30. Seahawks won, but that game went down to the absolute wire on the 1-yard line. Seahawks getting a nice, massive stop against Cam Newton and the Patriots offense. But Cam Newton, man, that's the story of the year. He's basically out of football for a year with injuries, and the dude was spreading the ball. He was running the ball. He looked good in all facets of the game, and the Pats offense, watch out for those guys. They are hot. They are looking good this year, and I think they're utilizing Cam just the way they need to, spreading the ball but also giving it to him. He's 6'6", I believe. He's a massive load, and he's difficult to tackle, so getting him involved in the rushing game is a huge key to their success down the line. Defensively, Stephon Gilmore got his ass cooked the whole game by DK Metcalf, and for the defending or reigning defensive player of the year, that is not what you want to see out of your number one corner in Pat's world. But, that you're not going to be dominant week in and week out against some of these absolutely freakish athletes. And on the Seahawks side of the ball, Russell Wilson is looking like Mr. Unlimited times 2. He's got the best deep and down field throw in the game. His spiral is crisp, it's clean, and it's on the money. DK was really cooking all game. Carson in the backfield was really running the ball well. And their defense, a lot of injuries on that end, but Jamal Adams, as much as you might like him or dislike him, the dude's a beast. He's in every play. He's a hard hitter, and huge signing for them. So I think without Jamal Adams this year, the Seahawks defense would be a very, very different mold. So good for them. Good signing. I wish my Ravens were able to get him, but hey, it just wasn't in the cards for us this year, I guess. In the last game, the Saints and Raiders game, I think it's pretty prevalent and easy to see. The Saints, without Michael Thomas, are a completely different ball club. Michael is just that dude who is, he's a top 5 receiver for sure, no doubt about it. The guy catches everything that's thrown to him. He's got solid hands, and I think Drew Brees lacks in the passing game without him. I think that presence of Michael Thomas really hurt them. But on a positive note, not Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, another guy securing the bag, so to speak, is playing like a guy who has secured the bag and is well deserving of that payday. Dalvin Cook could probably take some notes from him. Alvin Kamara has been unbelievable the first 2 weeks of the football season. I expect it to, as long as he stays healthy, to continue. This dude is hot right now. Feed him the ball in Saints territory. Unfortunately, they got the loss, but the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr's not a very above average quarterback, but they're getting the job done. Josh Jacobs does carry a massive load in that offense for them. But Darren Waller, geez Louise, I think he had like 10-plus receptions at tight end, and that just needs to pay homage to like how, he's that security blanket right now for Derek. So having that guy that you can throw it to him all game long, he's going to catch it, whether it's for 5 yards, 20 yards, or a touchdown, the guy's going to catch the ball, and he's that security blanket for him. So Derek Carr, I look for him to continuously ride that coattail with Darren and have that, Batman and Robin type of relationship there. And Josh Jacobs, I think he's going to continuously tear up the ground and pound game. He's a physical being for sure. But yeah, so that's basically the gist of Week 2. I expect Week 3 to be even more exciting, full of fun, action-packed games, and everybody just enjoy those football Sundays while we have them. Crack open a cold one and enjoy some old-time football. Everybody loves it. It's amazing. It's a magical time of year. And hey, if you tuned in to today's podcast, I completely and utterly appreciate you. You're thebomb.com. And look for me to continuously posting these week in and week out and having a good time and having some good laid-back talks about football. Because for the foreseeable future, this will be what we will be discussing. The sports world, there's no better time to be talking about sports, like I said, and right now, NFL football is the focus. So, until next week, everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Unbiased Goat Sports Podcast. I appreciate you, I love you, and I'll catch you next week. See ya.